measure to continue it. A vote against means no more funds from commuters. A vote for will not raise your taxes, and commuters still pay. Learn more at LincolnOnTheMove.com. Paid for by the City of Lincoln.
Spring is the time of new beginnings and trying new things. If you haven't tried Fuhrer's cheese spread yet, the time is now. For parties for St. Patrick's Day and Easter, or celebrating the NCAA tournament with friends, there's no better dip to bring everyone together and celebrate something from Nebraska. Get to your local grocery store today and load up on Fuhrer's cheese spread. No event or party is complete without it on your table.
The electrical workers of Local Union 265 are now hiring licensed journeyman electricians from $32.50 to $42.50 per hour with paid benefits. And if you're looking for a new career, they're hiring apprentices at $19.50 per hour with paid benefits. Call the office at 402-423-4497 to apply. Start your electrical career today.
Rico here with HIS Auto Care at 70th and Van Dorn, letting you know HIS is a great place to bring your vehicle for service. With superior service bumper to bumper, we'll treat your vehicle like it's your mother's. Doesn't get any better than that. So call 402-488-8934 and HIS Auto will make you glad you did. 5% off, mention this ad, and for sure your mother will be proud you called. 402-488-8934, HIS Auto Care, 70th and Van Dorn. God bless you.
This is On the Block with Nebraska Basketball Hall of Famer and 9-year NBA vet, Eric Strickland. Nebraska Football Hall of Famer, Jay Foreman. Middle school basketball coaching legend and Duke basketball shooting coach in his mind, Austin Orman. Coming at you live from the heart of Lincoln, America. On air and online at theticketfm.com. Sponsored by the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese. This is On the Block with Eric Strickland, Jay Foreman, and Austin Orman.
Oh, welcome in. Happy Friday. We are back at 1040 O Street. We were out at Liquid Assets Sports Bar and Grill yesterday. Jay and I and Jake Sorensen had a blast. We missed the other member of our crew who joined us remotely, Eastrick. What's going on, partner? How you doing?
Wonderful. Another beautiful day just to be in the land of the living. And always great to be here on the block, man. Shout out to you guys. I know you guys did a wonderful job out there on yesterday. How was everything? What was the crowd? New good. Environment, new vibe, huh?
Yeah, great vibe, great people. Todd, one of the co-owners, fantastic dude. Had a chance to catch up with him before the show, then for the final segment of the show. Great vibe. Stricky, you would have really liked it. Liquid Assets, I mean, that fits right with your business mindset. Everything was paperwork themed. So even the menu had some money puns going on for it. So you would have liked it. I hope we get back out there and you're in town for the next time.
Yeah, that'd be very nice. I'd love to get there. It's unfortunate that I wasn't able to be there. Just had a couple of things to attend to, and look, I'll say I had I had some meetings a little bit earlier and made sure one of my sisters got to the airport safely, and she'll return tomorrow. She had to go on a business trip herself, but then I had another friend that just was about to launch a beautiful business. Here in Dallas. So it just touches my heart to be able to see your people doing well, your friends, you know what I mean? And when I saw the location of the place and the inside, yes, it's still kind of being worked out. I don't think they open until May, but it's good, man. I'm definitely looking forward to getting back out there and taking a look at it.
That is fantastic. Stricky, what's the temperature there?
Cloudy. There's probably going to be some rain in the air at some point, but I talked to Cluster, my partner from WTF, and we had actually a good show yesterday as well with Cluster Johnson Jr. coming on there, spitting some facts. So you can go check that out if you guys want to at the ticketfm.com's our app. So anyway, talking to Cluster said it was 80 degrees out there.
Yeah, we got back there again today. Pretty
That's
nuts.
Crazy. It wasn't that here. It's upper 60s.
Ooh, Nebraska wins.
That's crazy.
That? It went away from the good weather for once. That's kind of crazy.
I heard him say that, and I said, "You've got to be kidding me." But it's going to get back up there sometime over the weekend. Just hopefully it doesn't rain.
Hey, always Always, always. Well, there's a lot to get to on today's show. We will, of course, dive into plenty in basketball, including some Sweet 16 reaction. Half of the Elite Eight is set. We'll set the other half tonight. And, of course, you can hear that here on 93.7 The Ticket. We won't have games tomorrow because we got the Stars, but tonight and Sunday, there will be some college hoops on your airwaves for that. Some surprising news in the NBA. Memphis Fire's head coach Taylor Jenkins. We'll get into that. And Boston creeping up on the Cleveland Cavaliers. Are they putting some legitimate pressure on the Cavs for the number 1 overall seed in the East? We'll talk some Deion Sanders extension. And then, Stricky, not only are you missing the nice weather, Uncle Kev's coming in on a Friday. We've missed him for a while. So he's coming in, and I'm gonna tip one back with Uncle Kev.
Yeah. I know you are. And I know you're going to take the good Strix pick that I would normally.
Am I supposed to save it for you?
I know you and please do, so that way I can make sure I am excited about my return, so Kevin and I can do our little hookup once I come back to Lincoln.
I make no promises, but I will do my best to save it for you. Whatever you're getting from Uncle Kevin Myers Cork and Bottle, just know that it's going to pair fantastically with something from the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese, special ingredient butcher shop with every type of meat and every type of cut. They've got 3 Lincoln locations and 1 up in Omaha. Make sure you check them out today. Stricky, let's get into it. Some fantastic basketball last night. We'll get the blowout game out of the way early. It was Florida only up by 2 over Maryland at the half. Gators really put the clamps on Maryland 87-71. Derek Queen led all scores with 27 points for Maryland, but it ended up not being enough. We've talked a little bit about the Kevin Willard situation. Sounds like he's still interested in the Villanova job, but hasn't made any decisions yet. But Strick, I was really impressed with what I saw from Florida, right? They took Maryland's best shot in the first half. They pulled away in the second half. I had some doubts about Florida. I kind of thought they peaked a little bit too soon with their run through the SEC tournament. Florida's looked the part pretty much every game outside of a couple minutes against UConn. I'm really impressed with what I'm seeing from the Gators right now.
Man, I tried to tell you.
You did.
They just looked like they were ready for the moment, and they were tough. They were strong. They have size. They have athleticism. They have guys that can get buckets when they need to get buckets. And they're there's a group of them that there's no seeming to be egos. Like, it could be your turn, your turn, your turn. So, shout out to them leveling up out there against a tough Maryland squad. And I've been hearing word, and some mock drafts have kind of been coming out. And some of the word they're talking about possibly Queen coming down to Dallas, which would be quite crazy. Yeah, there's some talk going on about it, so we'll see.
How do you think that would fit with Lively when he gets back?
Well, see, the thing about Lively is Lively. A lot of what he was done was relegated to Lob City, a lot of pick and rolls. Lively has the ability to stretch. You know what I mean? Queen isn't there yet, not on a consistent basis. So he would be more of a Gafford type of deal. I think it'll be a good way for them to not have to worry about having to keep Gafford and sign him and give him. I think Gafford has earned it. Now the injury, hopefully it doesn't hinder him in the opportunity. I hate that for him. But it seems with Anthony Davis, that's going to be an issue, I think, because they still really don't have a true center. And Anthony wants to play 4. So, and Queen isn't a true center. So I would probably try to keep Gafford if I could, because he's probably the truest of the centers that they have.
Fair enough. Let's go to the biggest blowout of the night in a college hoops, Stricky. 113-88, Alabama takes down BYU in a historic performance. 25 made threes on 51 attempts for Alabama. You put up 88 points in a game, you're not going to lose very often in college basketball. But not only did BYU lose, they lost by 25 points. I mean, BYU didn't have a terrible day themselves. I mean, they shot only 6 of 30 from 3, which isn't great, I suppose. I mean, 33 of 72. You think that gets the job done. But Strick, how about this? If Alabama didn't make a single 2-point field goal, they still would have won this game by 5 points. 75 points off of 25 made threes and an 18 of 21 showing at the free throw line. There are offensive clinics. They're shooting in an empty gym, And then there's whatever the heck Alabama just did in Newark last night.
Yeah, that's crazy. And that's the thing, I think that's why you're probably a little uncertain and a little unsure as to who's probably going to win this tournament. Let's just be honest.
Mm-hmm.
Every team is capable of going on one like this. And it's just a matter of where the ping pong ball in the roulette table lands, as far as how it's going to go. Teams are very capable of going 10 for 50, let alone 25 for 50. I mean, just think about that. If you take 51 threes and you shoot 50% of them, the analytic game right there just goes out the window. It just you only took 15 more shots from two, and then went to the free throw line. Obviously, both teams shot very well there. There was nothing that mostly stood out. The game was pretty clean for the most part. Turnovers weren't crazy. Assist numbers for both teams were huge. Alabama. Now, if Alabama plays that way and their assist numbers are in the 20s, like this one was, they're going to be tough to beat because they're a very good squad and they're very seasoned.
They absolutely are. And Mark Sears was fantastic in this one. He ended up scoring, I believe it was 34 points on the night, Stricky. He was 10 of 16 from three. He had 40% of Alabama's makes by themselves. I mean, there are games that teams don't make double-digit threes as a team very often. I mean, he had more threes by himself than BYU did, right? I mean, the supporting cast, you could combine Chris Youngblood and an Aiden Holloway. They have 11 threes to BYU 6s. That's one of those nights you just run into a buzzsaw. I'm trying to find the stat here where I think it was something to the effect of like Mark Sears ended up raising his season 3-point percentage by like 1.5% with his 10 for 16 display just in a single game. And we'll get to the next game in this region, Strick. That's the Duke and Arizona game in a sec, because I think there's a little bit more to branch off of with this game. But I want to give my flowers, number one, to Arkansas, who built a 16-point lead over Texas Tech. But then, Strick, they were scoreboard watching. They watched it slip away. Texas Tech comes back. They put on a really clinic in the last 4.5 minutes or so of the game. Trying to find the tweet I liked from Evan Miyakawa. It was pretty impressive how Texas Tech ended up putting the clamps on Arkansas down the stretch. So yeah, Arkansas is up 13 with 4 minutes and 43 seconds to go. Texas Tech rattles off a 10-0 run in 2.5 minutes, cuts the deficit to 3. They hit a deep one with about 10 seconds to go. They tie it up. Arkansas's look doesn't fall, and then Tech goes on to win it in overtime. Second largest Sweet 16 comeback in history, and only the third time in his career that John Calipari has lost in the Sweet 16. That was one of the best games, the March 1st overtime game of the tournament. That was a barn burner start to finish, too.
Well, let me first say, got to give hand clap definitely to Texas Tech. Here's why. Texas Tech doesn't go very deep into their bench. They only play 7. So not only did you get down by double digits, you had to come back. You then had to go into overtime. You had Elijah Hawkins go for 45 minutes. You had Christian Anderson go for 44. And then your other two starters, JT Toppin and Darian Williams, go for 38 and 37 respectively. And your other starter is Kerwin Walton, who is ousted. So now really you're only playing with 6 guys.
Well, and you were down a starter. Chance McMillan missed the game.
That too, right? So that tells you a lot about their heart, about their resilience, because they also doubled up Arkansas on the offensive rebounds, going 22 for 11. So that tells me not only are you watching, you're not going full bore to win a game because they outworked you with less numbers than you put out on the court. So, like both teams don't really go deep. They basically play a lot of people. I mean, there's a few guys that got minutes, some sparing minutes, but it was more than enough. And even in those sparing minutes, you want to see some form of impact. you definitely don't want to see in 5 minutes and under 10 minutes turnovers. There you go. That's part of your issue right there. Not that they turn the ball over a lot, but the sparing minutes that you get, you want to have a positive impact and not negative numbers. And so it just didn't work out for Arkansas that game.
The
Gotta be
biggest
frustrating.
Yeah, I mean, the stories are the comeback. The stories are, I mean, this is the first time in the NCAA tournament that the John Calipari is led by 6 at half and lost. But Strick, I want to focus on Elijah Hawkins for a sec. That's a guy that was at Minnesota, did some pretty good work with the ball in his hands for some okay Minnesota teams. Strick, he was 0 for 9 shooting the ball in regulation, had a brutal night. It was 0 of 6 from 3, and then hit a free throw in overtime. But playing all 45 minutes of this game, he hits a 3 to put, I think, Texas Tech either back in front or extended the lead to 2 possessions. Talk about that mindset of being on the court, knowing it's everyone else's night but yours, but staying ready for when you do get that open catch and shoot 3, not worrying about the first 9 shots, but staying ready to knock down the open one for you.
Yeah, that is important. But also, not only that, you can tell that there were some mistakes made, Austin, because he has 5 turnovers and 5 assists. So that's not a good ratio that you want, especially someone that handles the ball as much as Elijah does. So, but that's okay. But there's a thing that we always taught ourselves that, and you see it in Steph Curry. You saw it with how bad he was playing in the Olympics, and when it was needed, and when it was crunch time, and when it looked like you were about to, lose, you end up making some of the biggest shots to make sure that the USA wins. It's very similar there, right? You got to wash them. You've got to wash them. You've got to know and rely on the training. You got to rely on all the shots that you've taken, all the practice that you put in. You've got to rely on that so that when you get that catch, no matter how good it is and how bad it is, and that's why I love baseball, like I told you before, because it taught me so much about being able to rinse and go back out and strike again. You know what I mean? So to be able to do that, man, it just tells you that it's a heart of a champion that understands, because some people will shy away from that moment, Austin. Some people will run away from it and be like, I don't want, we've seen that even in the NBA where guys, they don't want to touch the ball at certain times because they know they don't shoot good free throws, or they don't, shy away from the moment. But it's good that he stepped into that moment and was able to handle his business.
Sends Texas Tech to the Elite Eight, where they will take on number 1 seed in the region, Florida. Then, Stricky, the game that of course I was watching, the game I was locked in on. I'm glad it got over in time so I could see the end of regulation and overtime between Tech and Arkansas, was Duke and Arizona. 46 fouls called in a 40-minute game. It was super start and stop. Cooper Flagg made some history as he's wont to do as the presumptive number 1 overall pick. Duke wins at 100-93. But Strick, the story to me is Caleb Love. I mean, 35 points really willed Arizona back in that game. As soon as Duke got up by 19, he started hitting again, got downhill. Duke didn't have anyone that could really stay in front of him. If you're an NBA team, how interested are you in drafting a guy like Caleb Love? Do you think that he's just an empty stats sort of gunner? Or do you think he can be, a go-to scoring option at the NBA level?
If you can score, you can score, and he's a scorer, right? He's a high volume scorer. So I don't think you risk a first round pick on him. I think you take him in the second round, very similar to like another Arizona great that came out of there, which was Gilbert Arenas, right? Played with some great teams, but Gilbert Arenas, everybody knew was a gunner, right? So Golden State doesn't go and reach out all his other guys because why? They were team guys. They were guys that knew how to play within system, and they didn't have to have the ball to be impactful. Whereas Gilbert, they take him in the second round, and I think that's the same thing for Caleb. You take him in the second round, you probably make him a two-way, give him some G League time so you can observe and see what you got, because he's going to be able to get those touches. So you want him to see how he can also play in system with the touches. So you're going to have things drawn up for him, and he's going to have plays that are probably going to be a go-to guy, which is going to help him to stay, keep his game tightened up. But then they want to see if he can run system. What's his body language going to be if he's not getting the ball Is he going to just stay? Can he shoot off the ball without having to touch it and pound it and do all of that? Can he be a space guy? What's his defense going to be like? You're going to be able to see all of those things that, if you don't have to take the risk in putting it out there and waste 4 years by doing so. And then you don't have to pay him as much. And then, you can kind of observe without a super risk of loss.
According to Evan Miyakawa, Caleb Love has the highest offensive BPR on the team, which isn't surprising, but one of the lowest defensive BPR. So, Stricky, that's something that, like you said, where a two-way contract would probably be good to see what he can do offensively, to learn if he can operate with it in his hands or if he needs to be off ball. But also,
or if you're a team, Austin, or if you're a team that needs an off-the-bench guy who you can kind of, just to change the momentum or get things going, then you might take a risk on it. Definitely maybe late first round at that point. If you're a team that just doesn't really have great bench support, then come on. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, that's exactly where I was going to go, is because I think that's probably going to end up being the role for Caleb Love in the NBA if he sticks, right? I mean, 6'4", 205 pounds, pretty good body. It's typical point guard size, maybe a smaller two in the NBA anymore. But Strick, I'm trying to figure out if he's more, Norm Powell, if he can be Lou Williams, or if he's going to end up being Jordan Poole, right? An empty stats on a bad number sort of team. We know about what happened at North Carolina. There's a lot going on between him and RJ Davis. We haven't heard, many reports of bad body language or bad character outside of whatever that was that went on at North Carolina that we don't have the full story for. But I would be curious to see how an older guy like him who spent 5 years in college, if he did mature throughout college, or if he's one of those guys that once he gets to the NBA has that kind of swagger and flair of, oh, I was a draft pick, this team took a chance on me, they want me to come in and score. If he's a guy that is going to always be an offense hijacker, or if, like you said, that's his role early on and then he grows into something more. Because the frame's there. I thought he had the potential to be a one and done, but he stuck around for a while. I'm at least intrigued by Caleb Love as an NBA prospect.
He reminds me a lot of a player I had the privilege of watching and watching play a lot of the NBA as well. But we're going to see what his medal's built of, and that was a guy that you would love if I say this name, because you already know you don't like him, which is North Carolina player Joe Forte, and super has a tremendous ability to score. But I'm telling you, if things don't go right, he had just such a bad attitude as a rookie coming in, and then all the other rookies outworked him. Kedrick Brown and obviously Joe Johnson, ISO Joe, and they were able to give themselves some playing time, and he didn't like it, because you got to understand, you jumping from here to there doesn't mean anything in the eyes of the beholder and the coach and the staff and all of that. You got to be able to put in the work. You got to show that you're willing to step out there. And so because of those lack of preparation in the practice for him, it didn't pan out on the court and he washed himself out. That's what I'm going to be watching to see what Caleb Love looks like. And it's crazy that they both played at North Carolina.
40 minutes, 35 points for Caleb Love, 4 rebounds on the night, 1 assist. And 1 steal. I mean, 35 points on 21 shots. He was 5 of 11 from 3, 8 of 9 from the free throw line. He was the game's high scorer. Cooper Flagg had 30 to lead Duke. But Stricky, I saw this as well. Caleb Love has 35 points and no turnovers against a 1 seed. It's been done before. Do you know the last player before Caleb Love to go for 35 points and no turnovers against a 1 seed in the NCAA tournament? You know this guy. You're familiar with him. You played
Steve Nash. Steve Nash.
It was not Steve.
Paul Pierce?
It was not the truth. I'll give you one more guess. He may or may not have taken a beverage from a former Maverick superstar in a tunnel last year.
Antoine Walker?
Michael Finley.
Findo?
Yeah.
Wow, not the Finster.
in an NCAA tournament game against a 1 seed back in '94 for Finster. How about that?
Oh, they were a 9 seed, huh? An 8 or 9. Okay, I think I remember. Oh, I didn't know that. Okay, Finster. Yeah, I knew he was getting buckets though. I knew that.
So yeah, it's been 31 years it took for someone to go for 35 points and no turnover. So Michael Finley to Caleb Love. Thought you might find that interesting. So let's go ahead and take our first break of the show. When we get back, let's hop up to the NBA. Lots going on there. Boston starting to put some footsteps in the rearview mirror for the Cleveland Cavaliers. 5 games separate the 1 and 2 seeds in the East. And then Taylor Jenkins fired as head coach of the Memphis Grizzlies, despite the Grizzlies being in a tie for 4th place in the West right now. He's Eric Strickland. I'm Austin Norman. This is On the Block, brought to you by the Mercado. We'll talk some NBA when we get back.
Follow Austin Strick and On the Block on Twitter at Austin Orman, eStrick20, and On the Block 93.7. More of On the Block coming up.
I'm Chief Dave Engler. When a fire truck hits a pothole with 12 tons of fast-moving equipment and crew, it's a problem. On your ballot in April is a measure to continue Lincoln's quarter-cent sales tax for street improvements. A vote against eliminates the street funding. A vote for will not raise your taxes and keeps the funding in place. And better roads means faster response times. Learn more at LincolnOnTheMove.com.
We use our Lincoln streets every day, and so do first responders. But visitors and out-of-town commuters also do. A quarter-cent sales tax for streets passed by voters in 2019 makes those commuters pay about $6 million a year to improve streets. On your ballot in April is a measure to continue it. A vote against means no more funds from commuters. A vote for will not raise your taxes, and commuters still pay. Learn more at LincolnOnTheMove.com. Paid for by the City of Lincoln.
Start your Sundays off right with Jeff and Nicole Essink on Fitness Fanatics. Jeff and Nicole discuss health and wellness, how to achieve fitness goals, and more through the life of gym owners and gym goers. It's Fitness Fanatics from 9 to 11 a.m. on Sundays on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Discover the difference that expertise and experience can make in your real estate journey with Next Ag Appraisal and Realty. Whether you need an appraisal, sales, or farm management, Next Ag comes up with a solution with your legacy and goals in mind. Next Ag isn't just their name, it's your future. So why wait? Visit their website today at www.nextagrealestate.com or give them a call at 402-380-0432 and turn your dreams into reality. Your land, your legacy, their solution. Next Ag Appraisal and Realty.
Wrestling fans, it's time to elevate your game, just like Stevens & Smith Construction does for your concrete needs. As your full-service concrete contractor, we deliver solid results every time. From singles to doubles, fighting for inside position to scrambling reversals, we know how to pin down quality and slam expectations. Stevens & Smith Construction, a proud sponsor of Takedown Tuesdays on 93.7 The Ticket, where Husker wrestlers bring you all the action. Don't stall. Stevens & Smith Construction is here to help you build a concrete foundation for the win. Check us out at www.stevensandsmith.com because stalling is a penalty and winning is the only option.
This is Bill Mitchner, Executive Director of Lincoln Lighthouse. Did you know Lighthouse provides multiple programs for students such as one-on-one tutoring and mentoring, as well as pro-social skill exercises, while providing them a nourishing meal and a safe space during all months of the year, even during school breaks? Learn more or contribute to Lighthouse at lincolnlighthouse.org today.
Garage doors can break down or quit working at the worst times. At Doors Plus, they understand that a broken garage door sometimes means repair and not replace. Sometimes, all you need to make your door like new again is a few bolts, a realignment, or even a new balance. Trust the pros at Doors Plus to handle your garage door repair the right way so you can get on with your busy schedule. Visit them online at DoorsPlusLLC.com or give them a call today at 402-590-5800. Doors Plus. Garage doors and more.
At Farm Bureau Financial Services, we strive to provide you with the right coverages for all your insurance needs by taking the time to meet with you and review what coverages best fit your needs. So whether you're in the market for home, auto, farm, business, life, or a combination of any of these coverages, we can help with making sure you, your family, or your business have the right coverage based on your individual needs. If you would like to review your insurance needs, please contact Ben Spurt with Farm Bureau Financial Services at 402-217-9945 or through email at ben.spurt@fbfs.com.
Empower a child today with the Teammates Mentoring Program. Hope is only a conversation away when you choose to share your talent, time, and heart with a child. Together, you can build a relationship based on strengths and chart a brighter future, 1 week at a time. Find out how you can be a mentor by visiting LincolnTeammates.org. Become what you needed as a kid by joining the Teammates Mentoring Program today.
Fleet Feet Lincoln is excited for the upcoming spring season and the warmer temps, and they want you to get outside and be active. Fleet Feet's Fit ID process takes a free 3D image of your feet to help runners and walkers alike find comfortable tennis shoes and inserts that ease pain associated with plantar fasciitis, bunions, and more. Get back on your feet this spring with a trip to Fleet Feet, open 7 days a week at 77th and Pioneers.
In every office, there's two types of people. There are those who bring in bagels and those who eat the bagels that someone else brought in. Everybody likes the first person. Be that first person. Weekday mornings at 7:30, you have a chance to win a business box of bagels from Bagels & Joe. All you have to do is shut up, Sipple. 2 questions for you, 2 for Sip. Win, and the bagels are yours. Lose, well, you don't want to lose.
You lost Monday, you lost Wednesday, you're a loser.
Shut up, Sipple. Weekday mornings at 7:30, brought to you by Bagels & Joe. Now back to On the Block with Eric Strickland, Jay Foreman, and Austin Orman.
We're rolling right along here during On the Block. Austin Norman and Eric Strickland with you in hour number 1. Kevin Meyer will be along to start hour number 2, and then Jay Foreman and I will take you through from about 4:30 to 6 here. Like I said, Austin and Strick are with you. Strick, let's turn our attention to the NBA. Let's start in the Eastern Conference. The story of the year has been the Cleveland Cavaliers, who got off to an insane start. We had the plus 30 wins and single-digit losses matchups between them, the Thunder, back in, I think, January or February. We were talking about that. And Cleveland has still been good, but don't look now. Here come the Boston Celtics. 54-19 overall. Still 5 games back of Cleveland with 9 to play. Do you give Boston a chance to catch Cleveland for the 1 seed, or do you think it's just about how close Boston can make it? Can they make it any more interesting than the 5 games it is right now?
So they're in different divisions, if I remember correctly, right?
Yep.
So being that they're in different divisions, Boston can sit in a good place with everything. They're in different divisions. They're also so they can come out and ultimately end up still with that second seed. Second seed for Boston in the East doesn't hinder or hurt them at all. 1 seed. Look, they're very good on the road anyway, so that's not a problem. But what I will say, there's a show I used to watch with my kids. It was called Madagascar, all right? And there was a guy on there, I can't remember his name. Sauter Heyman text line, you guys are always on it, 402-464-5685. So there was a hippo, the girl hippo, I think, I want to say Jada Pinkett played it or whatever. And there was this dude that was like a macho hippo, and he would always be doing his chest. And then he would be like, I like them big. I like them pumpy. I like them big. I think Will.i.am did his voice, right? And he came into the pond. I'm going somewhere. Follow me. You see the standings, right? They were talking, the girls were talking, and they said, uh-oh, here he comes. That's exactly what I see. It looks like they're in the Madagascar pool looking at, I like them big. I like them pumpy. And that's the Celtics. I like them big. I like them pumpy. And then all of a sudden, they look over and say, uh-oh, here he comes. That's what they've just got to go and keep playing, right? Cleveland's just got to go and keep playing. They've got to figure out what's going on right now. The Celtics are on a 9 out of their last 10. I need to look at their schedules and kind of get an assessment. 9 games left, but
I got Cleveland.
If I'm Cleveland, I want. Go ahead. I'll look up the Celtics, but I'm going to tell you, if I'm Cleveland, I want the 1 seed, because if we happen to face each other, I don't want to have to go there, because I've been there, and that jungle is raucous in the playoffs. That junk is raucous. So I'm telling you, I wouldn't want to have to play the former the previous champion in a 7-game series, and with them having home court advantage. So if I'm them, I'm really trying to keep that.
Cleveland at 59-14, their remaining schedule. Tonight they are at Detroit. They will come home for 2 games against the Clippers and the Knicks. They will go to San Antonio, host Sacramento, host the Bulls, go to the Pacers, go to the Knicks as a back-to-back, and then have a night off, wrap up the regular season on April 13th with a home game against the Pacers. That's pretty tough, Stricky. You have your closest divisional competition in the Pacers. You get the Knicks second in Boston's division twice. The Bulls we'll talk about here in just a sec. And the Clippers, who have been playing some pretty good basketball recently as well. That's 6 or 7 pretty darn tough games in the final 9 for the Cavs.
So on the other side of things, it's not too bad. They went through their worst stretch, Austin. From their worst stretch was from, I want to say, March 8th up until present.
Okay.
March 8th, Lakers win. Utah, not hard, win. Oklahoma City, tough, close game, lose. Miami on the road, Brooklyn on the road, Brooklyn at home in a back-to-back, Utah on the road, Portland on the road, Sacramento on the road, and Phoenix on the road. Not that those games were tough, but it's an out west long trip that they took. They handled business, and they won all of those games. To only go still on their way home through San Antonio, which is down, Memphis, which is which you're probably going to get into in a second, juggling things around, trying to figure out some things. Miami, Phoenix, Washington's terrible. New York on the road, that's going to be tough. Orlando on the road, shaky. And then 2 Orlando games at home. Who do you like better based on that?
I think the 5-game cushion really helps Cleveland because Boston's schedule is a lot simpler.
Right?
Boston's schedule is a lot simpler. And, Strick, I think that matters too because if we look ahead to the second round, presuming that Boston takes care of whoever comes out of that first play-in game, Boston would have home court advantage in the second round over right now a division rival in the Knicks. Right now, there's about 2.5 games between the Pacers and the Knicks, separated by the 3 and the 4. Boston's up 8.5 with 9 to play over New York, and they see him twice. So essentially, the next Boston win, if Boston beats New York once, it's over. Boston's locked into the 2 seed. So Boston's feeling really good there. I think it's easy enough that I could honestly see Boston, ripping off another 7 or 8 of their final 9. But the problem is I don't see Cleveland dropping, 5 or 6 of their final 9. Even if Cleveland goes, 5-4 or 4-5 down the stretch, they still end up taking the East by at least a game or 2. And at this point, Boston might be in rest mode. If they're comfortable with the 2, what do those last couple games against Charlotte really mean to them? So I do think Cleveland...
Load manage.
Right. If this was a 2 or a 3 game deficit, I would be super worried if I was Cleveland. But since Cleveland built that buffer with 5, I'm feeling pretty good if I'm the Cavs.
No question, Austin. I agree with you.
Let's keep it in the East for just a second. Shirky, I guess this is a crossover game. That Bulls-Lakers ending last night, man.
Yeah, bro.
What in the world are you doing, Los Angeles?
Feeling good if you're Chicago, because that's one that you could have let get away. You've got enough cushion if you're Chicago, not fully, because they've gone 8 of their last 10. You know what I mean? So you got a nice little cushion. You're pretty much in the play-in game. Where you're in the play-in game is going to depend on whether or not, what you do in these last few games. And the Hawks have kind of been shaky, and Orlando's got a pretty tough run at it, right? So if you're the Bulls, you're happy. That's like a rejuvenating thing. It's one of those things where it's a chin check, heart check. It's when you're battling against the ropes and you've got to just fight off, some things because you're a little wobbly. Your feet ain't on stable ground, and you got to be able to fight out of that thing. They did. They didn't give up. In the NBA, Austin, it's so easy in those situations to just be like, oh, okay, 6, we down 6, cool. You didn't see that. And shout out to Giddy, who it looked like a different version of the Reggie Miller deal. He didn't have to put up the choke symbol, but in essence, what we talked about off air is it was a choke moment for the Lakers.
It absolutely was completely preventable. Okay, you give up the one off the sideline inbounds. Just make a good inbounds pass. You get your free throws, you hit one of them, you're probably good. But LeBron throws it just out of reach. Chicago steals it. They cash it for the lead to go up by 1. Reeves gets a bucket, right? That's what we miss in this is that, the Bulls scored those 9 points to end up winning it, but the Lakers actually took the lead again with the Reeves layup, and then Giddey hits the shot from beyond half court. And that factors in here, Strick, because as we look at the Western Conference, if that's a galvanizer, if that's a rejuvenator for Chicago, that drops the Lakers into a tie for 4th place with the Memphis Grizzlies. Both these teams are sitting at 44 and 29 right now, a game and a half back of Denver for the 3 seed and 2.5 games up on the Clippers for the 6 seed. But the news of the day, Memphis fires head coach Taylor Jenkins with 9 games remaining in the regular season, and his team basically locked into the playoffs. What in the world, Strick?
That's one. That's one that just really blows the mind because it doesn't make sense. So this has got to be something internal. This has got to be something internal, or it's got to be something that he's beefing with one of the best players on the team. Now, I'm not going to say it's Ja Morant because I think there's 2 things with that. One, I don't think Ja has as much sway as far as the decision making yet. He has to earn that back.
Not anymore.
Yeah, not anymore. So I don't think it was anything to do with him. It has to be something that was said. Maybe it was an Ime Udoka situation. I'm only speculating because we don't know. No one's saying anything. Maybe it was an internal thing and crept through the back door. I don't know because that don't make sense. And it's alleged. I don't know. I'm just saying it doesn't make sense. So this is something eternal. This is some high level beef. This is some, we had some drinks of bourbon and a cigar, and you looked at my wife wrong. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? And that's odd. It's a wild thing. What say you? 402-464-5685. Like, what in your mind, if you're a high-level executive, a GM, or even above, what in your mind with 9 games left? There's nothing you can change. There's no system changes. There's nothing that you're going to be able to, maybe a few lineup changes, but why would you do that? Whatever it is that was working got you into the playoff. You're not in the play-in. It's not like you're fighting for your life. What is it that would put that in your mind? Give me something so I can think about it on myself, because right now I have no plausible idea as to what could have happened in that situation.
I think everyone's kind of grasping at those straws there, Strick. And I just want to throw this out here. So Dan Devine, who's an NBA writer for Yahoo Sports, this is what he tweeted out. He says, the main thing I keep thinking about is this is an awfully big bet from the Grizzlies that they're going to wind up with their version of Tyronn Lue or Kenny Atkinson and not their version of Jock Vaughn or Doc Rivers. Is Memphis trying to get a head start on the coaching carousel? It could be, but that's just a slap in the face to a guy who's kind of been through the grind with you. He took over in 2019-20. His first year, 34 and 39. The next year takes him back to the playoffs for the first time in 3 years at 38 and 34. Losing the first round, they make it to the semis the next year before they get beat by that Warriors team that would go on to backdoor their way to the championship over the Celtics. Then they lost in the first round last year, had everyone hurt last year, dropped down to 27 and 55. But then this year, when they have more players available, they're back up to a 45, 46, borderline 50-win team, depending on how the rest of their season shakes out. Sure, maybe you have questions about, his rotations or his lineups in the playoffs. But firing him with 9 games to go, that feels to me, Strick, like Memphis entering the transfer portal with another destination, another head coach in mind. They better have their guy on speed dial, signed, sealed, delivered. Because no, maybe Taylor Jenkins wasn't elite, but he sure as heck wasn't bad enough to fire with 9 games in the regular season left to go and the playoffs yet to come.
No doubt. You better hope that there weren't any connections internal with players. He's been there long enough, like you said. He went through the grind with them. Mm-hmm. He was able to stick it out with all of the injury problems and all of the downfalls and the loss of Ja, and both to injury and to suspensions. And yet he's just kept trudging along, right? Mm-hmm. You better hope that there isn't any of that can cause any schism within the organization that can cause you to fall into that play. Look, you're not set in stone yet, my guy. So you better hope that move doesn't, because why? It doesn't make any sense. If it does, whoever's up and whoever made that decision, gotcha. I don't know. Yeah. And then you out in the first round or the play-in. Whoa, that would be a travesty.
Mm-hmm. I'm not going to say Memphis is wrong for it till we see who they hire. Right now, it's questionable. It's shaky. It's shaky at best.
Shaky.
That's what it looks like.
It looks shaky.
He's Strick. Yeah. I'm Austin. We got some more coaching news to get to, but we'll go back to the college ranks for this. Just up the road in Omaha, a well-deserved extension for Chris Crutchfield. And then over in Boulder, the Buffaloes extend Deion Sanders. He will be making 8 figures next year. We'll get Strick's reaction to that before we get Thirsty Thursday to lead off hour 2 of On the Block.
Download our app by searching for 93.7 The Ticket in your app store to stay in touch and listen all day wherever you are. More of On the Block next on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Discover the difference that expertise and experience can make in your real estate journey with Next Ag Appraisal and Realty. Whether you need an appraisal, sales, or farm management, Next Ag comes up with a solution with your legacy and goals in mind. Next Ag isn't just their name, it's your future. So why wait? Visit their website today at www.nextagrealestate.com or give them a call at 402-380-0432 and turn your dreams into reality. Your land, your legacy, their solutions. Next Ag Appraisal and Realty.
Have you been accused of a crime and don't know where to turn? At Liberty Law Group, we understand that a call to an attorney is a call for help. If you're up against the legal system, you need an advocate you can trust to handle your case with professionalism and compassion. Liberty Law's experienced trial attorneys are committed to the defense of liberty for those accused. Don't let a criminal charge ruin your life. Call 877-42-LIBERTY. Liberty Law Group. Trial attorneys you need. Advocates you deserve. That's 877-42-LIBERTY or libertylawnebraska.com.
Spring is the time of new beginnings and trying new things. If you haven't tried Führer's cheese spread yet, the time is now. For parties for St. Patrick's Day and Easter or celebrating the NCAA tournament with friends, there's no better dip to bring everyone together and celebrate something from Nebraska. Get to your local grocery store today and load up on Führer's cheese spread. No event or party is complete without it on your table.
Rico here with HIS Auto Care at 70th and Van Dorn, letting you know HIS is a great place to bring your vehicle for service. With superior service bumper to bumper, we'll treat your vehicle like it's your mother's. Doesn't get any better than that. So call 402-488-8934 and HIS Auto will make you glad you did. 5% off, mention this ad, and for sure your mother will be proud you called. 402-488-8934, HIS Auto Care, 70th and Van Dorn. God bless you.
At Farm Bureau Financial Services, we strive to provide you with the right coverages for all your insurance needs by taking the time to meet with you and review what coverages best fit your needs. So whether you're in the market for home, auto, farm, business, life, or a combination of any of these coverages, we can help with making sure you, your family, or your business have the right coverage based on your individual needs. If you would like to review your insurance needs, please contact Ben Spurt with Farm Bureau Financial Services at 402-217-9945 or through email at ben.spurt@fbfs.com. Start your Sundays off right with Jeff and Nicole Essink on Fitness Fanatics. Jeff and Nicole discuss health and wellness, how to achieve fitness goals, and more through the life of gym owners and gym goers. It's Fitness Fanatics from 9 to 11 a.m. on Sundays on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Your home is your empire. Protect it with Empire Fence. Get a free instant quote with the online estimating tool at empire-fence.com. See an upfront estimate with no hidden fees. An Empire Fence can provide privacy and improve the appearance of your home. Keep kids and pets in or out of your yard. Increase security and add value to your property. Visit empire-fence.com now to view the stylish and maintenance-free possibilities for your home and get a free instant online quote. Let Empire Fence protect your empire.
Fleet Feet Lincoln is excited for the upcoming spring season and the warmer temps, and they want you to get outside and be active. Fleet Feet's Fit ID process takes a free 3D image of your feet to help runners and walkers alike find comfortable tennis shoes and inserts that ease pain associated with plantar fasciitis, bunions, and more. Get back on your feet this spring with a trip to Fleet Feet, open 7 days a week at 77th and Pioneers.
This is Bill Mitchner, Executive Director of Lincoln Lighthouse. Did you know Lighthouse provides multiple programs for students such as one-on-one tutoring and mentoring, as well as pro-social skill exercises, while providing them a nourishing meal and a safe space during all months of the year, even during school breaks? Learn more or contribute to Lighthouse at lincolnlighthouse.org today.
Hey volleyball fans, this is Laura Dijkema, National Player of the Netherlands, and now the setter on Omaha's newest professional team, Love Omaha Volleyball. League volleyball is bringing the heat this year. Don't miss your chance to see Olympians, national players, and national champions right here in Omaha from now through April. We can't wait to see you cheering for us in the stands. Visit lovboma.com to buy single match tickets to see me and Love Omaha Volleyball in action. Go Big Green!
Empower a child today with the Teammates Mentoring Program. Hope is only a conversation away when you choose to share your talent, time, and heart with a child. Together, you can build a relationship based on strengths and chart a brighter future, 1 week at a time. Find out how you can be a mentor by visiting lincolnteammates.org. Become what you needed as a kid by joining the Teammates Mentoring Program today.
Now back to On the Block with Eric Strickland, Jade Foreman, and Austin Orman.
Wrapping up hour one of On the Block with some coaching news. I'm Austin Norman. He is Eric Strickland. Stricky, let's start closer to home here. Chris Crutchfield, a well-deserved extension. Omaha announces that he has been extended through the 2030 season. What a season for Coach Crutch and the Mavs. And I know we talked about it a little bit, but I hope they're patient and they actually see this contract through to the end. It's hard to rebuild. It's hard to replenish at a mid-major, especially one without a whole lot of basketball history and tradition, like Omaha, the Mavericks have. Good for Coach Crutch earning this extension. He absolutely did. I hope that Omaha saw that, hey, from where this program was, he built it up. He deserves every opportunity to do it again here in the next couple of years.
Yeah, I've reached out to him. I've extended just some congratulatory comments and just love. And, we'll probably get together and play some golf soon. And as the weather continues to get better, but I'm really happy for him because a lot of people, may not know, like for real, like when Crutch was just getting into the game, he watched a lot of of my games coming up through high school because he was at UNO at the time. So he got a chance to really see me come up through the ranks, watch my game evolve. And then while I was in the NBA, he was coaching. I want to say he was down at University of Texas, Arlington. Him and both Tony Stubblefield. I think they were together. Both of them are Omaha guys. They both played at UNO, longtime friends. Stubbs is up in back. Got a good head coaching job at DePaul, and then ended up going back with Altman. He spent a lot of time with Altman. Wherever Altman's been, Crutch has been pretty much with him as his side guy. Stubbs has been one of the top paid assistants, throughout time as well. Now, whether that's the same now, I don't know, because it's a changed game. But Crutch used to. This is when you could do this back in the day. You really can't do this now. There's so many regulations on this stuff. But Crutch and Stubbs, they would bring players and they would say, Strick, can you get me a couple tickets, to the game and a couple of passes, so that way, they can come and hang out in the back afterwards. And, I shake hands, talk with them, and I helped them in their recruiting. Not that I was affiliated with their school, but just
vouch for them as dudes.
Strick is having a little, pool party or something, or some form of a party at the house or at Deion's spot or whatever. Hey, like, yo, can I bring this recruit dude? Can you get me? Yeah, come on. And it was just a way for us to show them Dallas. What all goes on in Dallas. I helped them to land some pretty good guys, throughout that time. It helped them in their recruiting. So Crutch has done it. I've watched him. Huh?
Did you get a piece of that pie? Did you get a cut when they were signed, sealed, delivered?
No, man. Hey, man. No, but I will say this. Crutch was at Oklahoma at the time, and he brought me in and tried to introduce me to the who was coaching?
Kruger, probably, right?
Lon Kruger. He really tried to introduce me to Lon and get me in as a lower level assistant. I went in, sat down, talked to him. Didn't work out, but that's okay. But I appreciated the fact that this is when I was still coaching. I appreciated the fact that he did it. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. I also would say Stubbs did. Stubbs did the same thing. They just decided to go with Fred Jones. I get it. Fred Jones. I played with Fred when I was up in. He had my number, doggone it, and that's really why I had to go back to 21 when I was in Indiana. He was the first round draft pick that year, so he got the number first. I didn't want to pull a Debo move because I'm fresh to the team. I didn't want to pull a vet, come in and stomp him. Yeah, but I didn't. I know. I was just trying to. I just was trying to fit in where I could with a good veteran group. But I was okay with it. I was okay with going back to 21. 21 was my number at in Nebraska, so I was cool with it. It wasn't a problem. But they took Fred Jones. And I'm okay with that. He played at Oregon.
Yeah.
I would expect if I was at Nebraska and Fred Jones was trying to come over to Nebraska and they had an option between me or him. I don't know. They might have chose him.
Cap.
Wait, one thing going. I'm just playing, y'all. Don't look. So some people is locking down that comment. They sending it to Fred Hoiberg and the crew right now. Oh, Strick ain't get no more tickets. Man. No, I'm just playing.
Stricky, Uncle Kev
Am
walked
I?
in. Kevin Meyer just walked in. So, Stricky, we will cut you loose. We'll save the Deion Sanders contract extension for another time. Enjoy your weekend, my friend. I'll be in Vegas on Monday, so I doubt I will cross paths with you or talk to you. I'm sure we'll both jump on.
We'll still have it on the block. We'll still have a time on the block, no doubt.
We sure will. Good to talk to you, partner. Have a good weekend.
Yeah.
He's Strick. I'm Austin. We're headed into hour 2 of On the Block, leading off with Thirsty Thursday or Firsty Friday. Kevin Meyer, Mars Cork and Bottle right after this.
Follow Austin Strick and On the Block on Twitter at Austin Orman, eStrick20, and On the Block 93.7. More of On the Block coming up. This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet, KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket. 93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Brought to you by Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
We're going to see plenty of sunshine for your Friday. It's going to be breezy, too. Wind gusts 30 to 40 miles an hour. High risk of fire danger, so a red flag warning will be in effect until 8 o'clock this evening. High temperature of 86 degrees. The record today, 90. So I don't think we're going to set a record this afternoon. Could bring in some showers, maybe a rumble of thunder overnight. Fair chance of rain on your Saturday. I'm meteorologist Aaron Downer for 93.7 The Ticket and ticketfm.com.
Step into healing at Prairie Orthopedic and Plastic Surgery. Our team of top-notch medical professionals turns pain into progress with state-of-the-art treatments and compassionate care. Visit prairieortho.com and discover the difference in quality orthopedic and plastic surgery services tailored to your unique needs. Your health matters, and Prairie Orthopedic and Plastic Surgery is dedicated to helping you thrive. Reach your full potential. Embrace a better tomorrow with Prairie Orthopedic and Plastic Surgery.
At Farm Bureau Financial Services, we strive to provide you with the right coverages for all your insurance needs by taking the time to meet with you and review what coverages best fit your needs. So whether you're in the market for home, auto, farm, business, life, or a combination of any of these coverages, we can help with making sure you, your family, or your business have the right coverage based on your individual needs. If you would like to review your insurance needs, please contact Ben Spurt with Farm Bureau Financial Services at 402-217-9945 or through email at ben.spurt@fbfs.com.
Hey, what are you talking about over there? Huh? I said, what are you talking about?
You know, Bill, I think it's time for both of us to get our hearing checked. We should head over to Christensen Hearing Analytics.
Oh, yeah, I've heard about them. They offer a free hearing consultation and screening, affordable hearing aid prices, and a knowledgeable staff with over 30 years of experience.
Visit Christensen Hearing Analytics today in Williamsburg Village or give them a call at 402-489-3450. Christensen Hearing Analytics. A better life starts with better hearing.
Take control of your health with the DASH scan at Advanced Medical Imaging. The DASH scan is a full-body MRI designed for advanced health screening. This dynamic approach provides exceptionally sharp images across multiple organ systems, helping to detect potential concerns early. With minimal radiation and no invasive procedures, the DASH scan offers a safe, comprehensive look at your health. Plus, results are delivered faster than ever, giving both patients and physicians confidence in screening and diagnosis. Your health is too important to wait. Schedule your DASH scan today at Advanced Medical Imaging. Visit amimaging.com or call 402-484-6677 to learn more. Are you a skilled mechanic looking for your next big opportunity? Constructors is hiring. We're looking for experienced mechanics to join our family-owned team. We offer competitive wages, great benefits, brand new service trucks, OEM-level diagnostic software, and career growth opportunities. Positions include lead and A-level mechanics for our shop and multiple field technicians. If you're driven and ready to grow with a company that's been around since 1908, apply today at constructorslincoln.com.
Hog Wild's giant stuffed baked potatoes are anything but basic and really hit the spot when you're craving a little comfort food. Nothing is more satisfying than a Hog Wild baked potato loaded with butter, sour cream, cheddar cheese, bacon bits, and chives. Add your choice of a Hog Wild house smoked meat like pulled pork, chicken, or brisket for a little extra. Order online at GoHogWild.com. Hog Wild Pit Barbecue, 3210 Cornhusker Highway in Lincoln.
But don't be late, we close at 8.
Spring is here. It's time to get back outside and into proper shoes this year. Brown's Shoe Fit is the place to buy this spring with their sale on athletic shoes. Get $15 off any regular priced athletic shoes with respected brands like Hoka, Brooks, New Balance, and On Running. And don't forget, Brown's carries a large arrangement of sizes and widths to fit your feet properly. Start your spring off right at Brown's Shoe Fit, just south of 66th and Q in Lincoln.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Koppel Chevrolet GMC, and March Madness is here, and Koppel is ready to rock and roll. We just closed the books on a tremendous February, and we're locked and loaded for a big March. True 0% APR is happening right now at Koppel on select new models. Plus, Koppel has over $10,500 off list on other select new models. Our pre-owned truck lot is full of late model low gyms as well. So make that short drive down 144th Street or check us out online at koppelcars.com. All deals with a roof credit, 0% is standalone.
Why wait until Friday to start your weekend?
Go ahead, start right now.
You're thirsty now, and 93.7 The Ticket is here to help you stock up.
Just in time for the weekend when I like to hit the clubs.
time to broaden your horizons and try some new wine and beer. It's Thirsty Thursday with Kevin Meyer from Meyer's Cork and Bottle.
Been too long.
That. It's been almost a full month. We had I was on vacation and missed two Thursdays, and then we had March Madness last week and
this week.
Yeah, so these are going to taste pretty good.
Oh my gosh, it has been too long. I'm Moss Norman. He is Kevin Meyer of Meyer's Cork and Bottle. We tried to do our best Hype Man productions over the last few weeks with everything that Kevin just mentioned going on. But Kevin, in case people miss the Hype Man productions, in case they forget who you are and where they could find you, remind people of where your wonderful shop is and located and what you do.
Well, thank you. We're Lincoln's oldest bottle shop. We've been located on the corner of 13th and South since 1965. It's been in my family since 1978. I started working there as a part-time college kid in 1991.
Whew.
And
that's where you developed your palate.
Well, not really. I was a typical college kid. I was more for quantity over quality, and as the budget allowed. And but over time, and after spending 5 years in the corporate world, I decided the family business didn't seem like such a bad gig, and so it's been my full-time career for nearly 25 years now.
And it has been one of my favorite segments for about 2.25 years now. So it is good to have you back. How was vacation?
Had a fabulous time, fabulous weather. I was telling you the story a little bit tricky coming back, but we made it, and here we are.
I'm sure we've had this discussion at some point, but what is your, not that there's a favorite airport to have to stay overnight in, but are there better airports than others to be stranded in?
There indeed are better airports than others. I would say I've had the most success doing Delta out of Atlanta.
Okay.
Going where we go. Now, that's not to say that everyone's going to have the same. Dallas-Fort Worth is a very clean, well-run airport as well.
The big one.
It's a big one, but it's easy to navigate, and they've got better stuff than just like a TGI Fridays. You know what I mean? And
they have Buc-ee's. I don't know if that's true.
Do they have a Buc-ee's? I don't think they have a Buc-ee's.
It seems like they should, but
you don't need to pump gas in the airport. But
they could. But it's the experience of Buc-ee's.
Yeah,
you know?
Sure. I think that'd be difficult to pull off because part of the appeal of Buc-ee's is just the sheer scale of it. But
sure. The E-Terminal sponsored by Buc-ee's.
Right, exactly. You'd just be one giant Buc-ee's and get ribs and a pound of fudge and a stuffed animal.
Sign me up. I am here for it.
I will say Miami is my least favorite airport. It's an American airport, but it feels like you're in a foreign country, and it's very unorganized, and there's no signage, and but that's all right.
Speaking of feeling like a foreign country, I'm headed to Vegas for the first time.
Oh wow. I've only been once, and that was enough for me to know that Vegas is not for me. I'm the kind of guy that Vegas will tend to chew up and spit out in an awful hurry. And I went with my wife. It was like 2.5, 3 days. That was enough. We had a good time. We actually won a little bit of money gambling, bought the kids some T-shirts, and but definitely don't really have any desire to go back.
I could be there for a week.
Oh boy. I imagine, it's the weird thing about Vegas for me was just the scale of everything. So like, you're like, hey, you want to go check out the Bellagio? It's just right over there. And you walk for a mile and it's still right over there. And you walk for another mile and you're not getting any closer.
Oh boy.
And it just, so
it is the Mirage Oasis of the cartoons.
I mean, it really is. The scale of everything is so massive. Everything seems so close, but it's not. And so that I bet we walked easily 20 miles in those 3 days.
Woo!
Yeah.
A lot of walking.
It was.
Were those boots made for walking or not?
I don't know.
Either way, you made it.
Not big boot guy.
Thank you. Same.
Yeah.
There's never been a boots guy.
I mean, I like them on other people. I just don't like them on me. So
you can't beat nice, comfy tennis shoes. That's where I'm at with it.
I like lightweight, breathable, easy to walk around in. Sign me up.
Amen. Well, it has been too long. I'm ready to tip one of these back. It looks like we're starting with the beer. What we got?
Drecker made a beer called Sug It On Chili Dogs. And that's what we're having. Just like the John Mellencamp song.
That's right.
It's baseball season. It's opening day was yesterday, right? And so what goes better with baseball than a good hot dog? So I thought we'd bring this in. And this is, again, kind of their beer. It's a Vienna lager, German-style lager, a beer that tastes like beer, nothing goofy, nothing fancy. The Germans created what they call the German purity law, and it implies to brewing beer. And so you can only use water, hops, grain, and yeast, and that's it. And so when you simplify things down to its very most common denominators like that, that's where the true artistry comes into play.
Mm-hmm.
And so a beer like this, even though it's more simplistic on the front end, on the back end actually takes more artistry, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's really good. I mean, up front, you get that everyman beer, the sitting at a ball game, cold beer, just needs something to throw back. That is a little more complex on the back. That's pretty solid. I'm a fan.
I am too. And I love the name, Sug It On Chili Dogs. I mean, who knew? Drecker's a brewery in Fargo, North Dakota. So
North Dakota?
North Dakota. Vienna lager.
I don't know if I'm happy or slightly disappointed that it wasn't actually chili dog imbibed.
Like flavored like chili dog?
I'm probably glad. But
if you could pull it off, I think it would be super compelling. But if you didn't, it would just be the worst thing ever. So
the bacon soda stuff, I can't do.
Yeah,
that just takes like the gristle and the fat and probably cooked it too long.
Yeah. And we've done like the pickle beers.
Yeah.
Which they're briny. I mean, it's like drinking beer and pickle juice. We did one. There's a famous donut producer called Voodoo Donuts.
Yeah, Voodoo. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Well, there was a brewery out of Oregon called Rogue that did a Voodoo Donut beer.
Whoa.
And it was like frosted pretzel, cream filled, whatever else. And it was crazy because you could taste all those things, but it still tasted like a beer. And it was actually pretty good. Yeah, it was nuts. But so if you can pull it off, it's great. But that's definitely an all or nothing scenario.
I'm trying to figure out what direction we would take a chili dog beer. Would we have to start with like a red beer? Maybe, or are we going just like for like spicy chili and just try to get some heat in the drink?
Yeah, I think probably some chili powder.
Yeah. Can't really pull off beans that well.
No, tomato though, you can.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think you would just do it like a kicked up red beer.
How much of a ground beef overtone are you going for in your chili dog beer?
Do you taste the ground beef much in chili dogs? I mean, in chili? You
See, I want more meat and more beans in my chili than anything. I'm not a big tomatoes guy in my chili.
Really?
Yeah.
So,
but it's easier to get in the beer.
Let
me
let you in on a little secret.
Please do.
I grow my own homegrown tomatoes, the heirloom tomatoes.
Excellent.
And there is nothing that makes your chili stand out better than using fresh homegrown tomatoes. And so we'll take them, we'll blanch them, which means just you boil them and then you put them in an ice bath and the skins come off and then freeze them. And then, so I'll take a pound bag of those. And that's the number one ingredient in my chili is the fresh tomatoes.
I just am not a tomatoes guy. Not on a burger, not on a sandwich. To me, a BLT is bacon, lettuce, toast. That's what it's supposed to be.
Fair.
I don't love the taste of just like biting into a tomato with the texture. Tomato sauce I can do.
That's the
Ketchup,
beauty
I
of
cannot.
the heirloom homegrown tomato, though. They're not pulpy. They're not seedy. They don't have the little slime. They're very meaty and fleshy. And so it makes a big difference. And they're sweeter versus the tomatoes that you buy at like a grocery store, which are generally grown hydroponically.
What's your heirloom tomato process? Because I know like cherry tomatoes are popular to grow at home, but what's different between like that and like heirloom?
Heirlooms are larger. Usually they start at about the size of your fist and will get bigger than that. My mother-in-law will actually start them from seed in her greenhouse and then grow them to be, about a foot, 18 inches tall. And then she brings them up and we plant them in our garden and, cage them up and do all that sort of thing.
How long did she have the greenhouse for?
Oh, long time. Yeah, they live down Wilbur DeWitt area out in the country. So, oh yeah. Father-in-law is a really handy dude, like really handy dude.
Those are nice to have around.
Yeah.
My father-in-law is too. And not to discredit my dad, he was helping me with a lot of projects around the home, but my father-in-law is typically the first one to take a look at something handyman.
I mean, he has built a 32 Dodge Coupe from scratch. All of his outbuildings he built himself, which I don't know how you do that. The guy is basically an engineering genius. He actually made his own log splitter that hooks up to the hydraulics of his tractor. So he'll unhook the hydraulic, plug it into his log splitter, which is on wheels, and it's got its own hitch. And so he can pull it to where he wants it, and will plug it into his tractor and run the hydraulic log splitter off the back of his tractor that he built himself. So,
gosh,
yeah, crazy
props.
Not even from a kit. Like, I mean, he
actually,
all
put
the
it together,
steel,
idea,
everything, start to finish.
Get a patent for that.
He could.
Got to be out there. One more time, name of this beer and where it's from.
It's called Suggin' on Chili Dogs, and it is it's from Drecker Brewing out of Fargo, North Dakota, and it's a Vienna lager, and it's darn tasty.
I would have to agree. Now, our next drink has the look of a Strix pick. He's probably going to be very disappointed he's not here.
I would 100% guarantee this would be a Strix pick if he were here. This is called Bezel, and this is from the Cake Bread family. And Cake Bread is one of Napa's most famous. And just to kind of put it in perspective, their Napa Cabernet is $100 a bottle.
Woo.
Well, this is their venture down into Paso Robles, which is Central Coast, which is actually where Strick kind of grew up. Same winemaker, but the Paso land and fruit and whatnot isn't as expensive to acquire as the Napa stuff is. And these are part of our Winery of the Month special. They're on sale for $28, so they're not cheap. $27.99, I believe. Normally about $35-$36. But to me, drinks like at the level of a $60 or $70 bottle of wine. So it's not only baseball season, but it's grilling season, baby. And there's an old saying in the wine world about a cab and a slab, and there's nothing that better goes with a good cut of beef than a good Cabernet. And this is certainly an excellent example of what a good cab is.
Strick would be asking for the bottle right now if he were here. I mean, that is it's a pretty light mouthfeel, but some really deep, like heavy flavors. It packs a punch. Spicy, but not overly spicy. Yeah, Strick would be all over this, as am I.
And I mean, just so much depth. I mean, it keeps going. And so it's not like it punches you in the face. It's elegant. But when you consume the wine and you just sit there and let those flavors linger, it's what they call the wine's finish. It just keeps going and keeps going and keeps going. And so you get a little bit of that. It's not as much black cherry as a lot of Paso cabs are.
Okay.
To me, I'm getting a little bit more of almost like a plummy quality.
Okay.
And, but then you get this sort of like almost like cigar leaf sort of thing going on. Almost kind of sweet tobacco-y thing. And a little bit of that vanilla, but it just keeps going. And to me, this is what a real wine tastes like.
Having never had a cigar, I can't speak to the cigar leaf part of it. I'll have to take your word for it. But I'm glad you said plum. I mean, that's kind of the color vibe I got a little bit more. And again, you're the expert, so tell me if I'm wrong. But I got hints of cherry at first.
Yeah.
But certainly not heavy.
Right. And, there's definitely some cherry components at plum, even almost like a kind of like a date or fig type of thing going on. It's that almost like that stewed dark fruit flavor.
Yeah.
But when I'm trying to describe, how would you describe tobacco leaf to someone who's never had it? It's a little bit sweet. It's a little bit earthy. And that's about all I can say. So think fall and sort of almost like after it rains and the leaves are on the ground, that smell.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So that's kind of the best way I can describe it.
Okay. Explain for people who might be tuning into Thirsty Thursday for the first time. We're drinking wine. It is grapes. Where are we getting all these other, fruit and flavor profiles from? How does that happen?
Well, so wine grapes, especially traditional wine grapes like Cabernet, Merlot, Pinot Noir, Chardonnay, Sauvignon Blanc, all those ones that you've heard of.
Mm-hmm.
Those are from a very specific species of grape. It's called Vitis vinifera. Not all grapes are part of that species or genus or whatever it's called.
Kingdom, phylum.
Right, exactly.
Class.
And the great thing about the reason those grapes enjoy the romance and history that they do in the wine world is because they develop the most chemical compounds. So what they call phenols.
Phenols. Okay.
And phenols are
PHENOLS.
Yes, and they are components of every food even non-edible things. Basically, everything's made up of chemical compounds, and so when you have something that's complex like that, it picks up nuances of things that it's not. So it picks up nuances of diatomaceous earth. It picks up nuances of black cherry. It picks up nuances of vanilla. Part of it can come from the barrel as well.
Okay.
When they char the inside of those oak barrels, it releases a chemical compound called vanillin, which is literally the same compound found in vanilla.
Vanilla, yeah.
And so that will not only soften the wine's mouthfeel, but also imparts a little bit of flavor into there and adds some complexity as the wines sit. And so the other fruits don't have those same number of phenols or chemical compounds to be able to enjoy the complexity that wine does. And that's essentially, it's been trial and error over a period of several hundred years. And so they've continued to develop those grape varietals. They've done some hybridizing. They've done some various other things to create new species of grapes that are still rooted in the traditional family. But for the most part, that's why wines have the romance that they have, is because they're more complex and no other fruit has that.
That's awesome. I'm sure you've mentioned phenols before. That's the first time I remember you mentioning it. And what was that you said? Something earth?
Diatomaceous earth.
Diatomaceous.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
Potting soil.
Ah, okay.
But it's basically, really rich rotting soil that would be great to like plant stuff in.
Okay.
Yeah.
Huh. Nature's crazy, man.
Nature's crazy, man.
And then we take this crazy stuff that comes from nature
and we
match it up, we eat it, and we drink it.
And then we all put it back into the soil and we start all over again.
Circle of life.
Life's beautiful.
Ain't that the truth? It has been beautiful having you back here, Kevin. We are so glad that you are back from vacation. We're glad we are back from our remotes. Despite you not being here, you are still at 13th and South. It's just, I suppose, to point that way.
Right.
That
Just
way. Not
straight
that
down,
way.
yeah.
That way.
Straight south of the station.
Straight south. So if you stop by 1040 O Street, it is a short walk, a short bike ride, or of course, an even shorter drive down to Myers, Cork, and Bottle. What you throwing on the grill this weekend? Anything?
In fact, I was just texting with my wife before I got here, and she's like, "What do you have?" And I'm like, "We're having steak."
Oh,
and she goes, well, "What kind?" And I actually right now I have
beef.
Well, no, I have some prime New York strips in the fridge, and then I have some prime tenderloin in the fridge. So I asked her, but both are like high level. So I'm having a Pavlovian experience as we speak, and looking forward to getting home.
How about this? Your bottle of wine, you take it. You're having steaks. I'm not.
I have more in the box, so you're welcome to take it home.
Stricky wants me to save it for him. I'm not sure that would happen.
I don't know.
We'll see.
Without it being preserved, it probably wouldn't last longer than a couple, 2-3 days without starting to turn sour. So if
I
he's
better
back,
take it then.
Yeah, you better take it. It's
I guess fine. I'll take it. Fine. Twist my arm a little.
There
more.
you
Why
go.
don't you? Kevin Meyer, thank you as always for coming in. Good sir.
Happy Friday.
He's Kevin. I'm Austin. Jay Foreman in for more old school or on the block. Sorry, when we get back.
Download our app by searching for 93.7 The Ticket in your app store to stay in touch and listen all day wherever you are. More of On the Block next on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
At Farm Bureau Financial Services, we strive to provide you with the right coverages for all your insurance needs by taking the time to meet with you and review what coverages best fit your needs. So whether you're in the market for home, auto, farm, business, life, or a combination of any of these coverages, we can help with making sure you, your family, or your business have the right coverage based on your individual needs. If you would like to review your insurance needs, please contact Ben Spurt with Farm Bureau Financial Services at 402-217-9945 or through email at ben.spurt@fbfs.com.
Discover the difference that expertise and experience can make in your real estate journey with Next Ag Appraisal and Realty. Whether you need an appraisal, sales, or farm management, Next Ag comes up with a solution with your legacy and goals in mind. Next Ag isn't just their name, it's your future. So why wait? Visit their website today at www.nextagrealestate.com or give them a call at 402-380-0432 and turn your dreams into reality. Your land, your legacy, their solution. Next Ag Appraisal and Realty.
Are you a skilled mechanic looking for your next big opportunity? Constructors is hiring. We're looking for experienced mechanics to join our family-owned team. We offer competitive wages, great benefits, brand new service trucks, OEM-level diagnostic software, and career growth opportunities. Positions include lead and A-level mechanics for our shop and multiple field technicians. If you're driven and ready to grow with a company that's been around since 1908, apply today at constructorslincoln.com.
Rashawn Jackson here for Bauer Underground, who has been serving local contractors and utility contractors all across the state since 1997. When you see the black and white trucks, you know the baddest dudes in the business have arrived. Bauer is currently looking for equipment operators, laborers, diesel mechanics, and aerial linemen. Join the brotherhood built on hard work, authentic people, and pedigree of success. Bauer, a family-friendly company who reminds you, go Big Red!
Spring is here. It's time to get back outside and into proper shoes this year. Brown's Shoe Fit is the place to buy this spring with their sale on athletic shoes. Get $15 off any regular priced athletic shoes with respected brands like Hoka, Brooks, New Balance, and On Running. And don't forget, Brown's carries a large arrangement of sizes and widths to fit your feet properly. Start your spring off right at Brown's Shoe Fit, just south of 66th and Q in Lincoln.
Why are some people more successful? Is it talent and determination, or did they recognize an opportunity? Discover a career that lets you help families reach their financial goals as you build lasting professional relationships. One with unlimited income potential. From Modern Woodman, a leading fraternal financial services provider.
I'm Modern Woodman Regional Director Sean Erickson. Call me at 402-483-6515 to learn about career opportunities.
Modern Woodman of America. Touching lives, securing futures.
Salt Mine City is not only Lincoln's newest brewery, but they're also now serving food. Enjoy a full menu of great items daily for lunch and dinner, like their peanut butter and jelly burger with bacon and cheddar cheese, or a Reuben sandwich served on Blackstone rye bread. Don't forget their beef or chicken nachos with guacamole, sour cream, jalapenos, and more. Wash it down with one of their 12 beers on tap, including the popular Single Axle Light American Lager. Salt Mine City, now open 11 a.m. every day but Mondays at 8th and R.
Hey Stars fans, I'm Ford Jack Picard. Join us for Billet Appreciation Night on Saturday, March 29th, when we take on the Des Moines Buccaneers at 6:05 p.m. Our billets make each season possible by opening up their homes to players like me each season. We'll be honoring them before the game on the ice with us as a small token of our appreciation. Purchase your tickets now by heading to LincolnStars.com.
Automotive Solutions is Lincoln's one-stop shop for all your vehicle needs, from vinyl wraps to engine repair and maintenance. Automotive Solutions offers fleet services as well as printing and graphic design for vinyl applications, plus installation of vinyl for boats, trucks, cars, and anything else you want wrapped. Perfection is their standard, and they never settle for less. Call today at 531-249-5600 or go to automotivesolutionslincoln.com to learn more. That's Automotive Solutions on 2024 Southwest 5th Street in Lincoln.
The dangers of secondhand smoke are well known. But what about secondhand aerosol, which is created when using e-cigarettes? Science already shows a secondhand aerosol can contain nicotine, heavy metals, and cancer-causing agents. Eliminating exposure to secondhand aerosol is an important step to keeping everyone safe. Breathe easier knowing the facts.
For help quitting, call the Nebraska Tobacco Quit Line, 1-800-QUIT-NOW, 1-800-784-8669. Paid for by Tobacco Free Nebraska. Aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Now back to On the Block with Eric Strickland, Jay Foreman, and Austin Orman.
Big thanks to Kevin Meyer from Meyer's Cork and Bottle for making his way back into the studio. Always a great time with Uncle Kev. Let's bring in Husker Hall of Famer, linebacker 44-56, Jay Foreman. Jay, welcome into your show. Welcome to On the Block. Good to see you.
What's up, man?
Lots going on. What was your favorite Sweet 16 game last night?
Man, I don't know. I mean, I didn't have a favorite one because Arkansas lost. Even though I picked Texas Tech to win, I just can't believe you're up by 16 and lose. And John Calipari was 35-0. He got the announcer's jinx.
He was 35-0 with a 6+ point lead at halftime, and that was the second largest comeback victory in Sweet 16 history.
Yeah, a little DJ Wagner and old buddy from Florida Atlantic. He was trying to be a
Janelle Davis.
Yeah, I think it's like, I mean, that was probably the best game. I mean, I think the Alabama game obviously was, legendary. I mean, how many threes, and they were, on
25 of 51.
Yeah. Well, they hadn't shot. They were saying they hadn't shot well. even in the SEC tournament. Then BYU actually played good, and you just hit a buzzsaw. What do you tell your team after that? We played good, but we
shoot better.
Yeah, shoot better, defend better when they're just essentially able to do whatever they want. But I'd probably say those two games. I kind of look at it like this, Austin. With DJ Wagner, obviously everybody knows his dad was more of a legendary AAU player that I think he went to Memphis, right?
Think so.
Yeah, and then obviously had played in the NBA and stuff like that. But if I was a young kid or if I was a parent and watching that, that's exactly how your kid should never play basketball. And I think it's a byproduct of the way that basketball is going right now. I think a lot of kids think that they're, need to be volume scorers. You got to score, and you score a whole bunch of points, and you're at home. You're doing the same thing me and you are doing. Watching the game, we're saying, how did they lose? They're thinking, how did we lose? But I also think it's a bigger thing is that everybody's talking about the transfer portal being open right now. And I think Bruce Pearl talked about it. I saw on TV. And he talked about it. It's fine, and it's easier for him to do it because I would say the grocery store that those teams are shopping at now is a lot different than the rest of the nation. Yeah. And if I'm on the other side of it, I actually like it. It gives me a little bit of a leg up, and maybe I can pluck one of those guys off, and maybe I can get. You got to have your lists ready, and you're paying you're paying people a lot of money. So as hard as it is to be a coach. And I'm not saying that it's not hard. In some ways, it's harder because kids can leave. And when I was here, you couldn't leave. You're essentially just locked and loaded. And so they could take time with you, and you just couldn't. They could coach you different. They could approach you and your parents different. On the flip side of that, I'm not here for the excuses because you're getting paid so much money, and It's not about the money, but it is. You're getting paid a lot of money. You have a huge staff. And you can add to the staffs, and there's more jobs and opportunities. So I just think you just got to really think outside the box and be okay with constant transition, constant rule changes, and then constant movement. And you got to really change your mind to say, hey, I'm going to love and coach you while you're here, is whether you're here for 1 year or 4 or however much, and you got to be okay with the kid. You could hate it, but you can't sit there and lose sleep over it.
And I think that's a lot of what made John Calipari so good for the mid to late 2000s into the 2010s was that kind of open mindset, helping pioneer the one done model when he was the head coach at Memphis, right, with Derrick Rose, and then with Kentucky. Obviously, that was some borderline legendary recruiting stuff. What he was doing, his battles for the best class in the country with Duke, but even if John Calipari, Jay, had the right idea with player acquisition and retention and how to coach these guys that were pretty transient, right, in 1 year, gone the next, what didn't really change for Coach John Calipari was the scheme, was the system. Yeah. Where DJ Wagner has seen all the guards that Kentucky has put in the league that played for John Calipari, not saying there's no system, but how many times did we see Kentucky's guards just go bananas? Just go off. And I think DJ Wagner saw that and was attracted to that. And I don't think that the John Calipari has always been the best at reining those guys in and having them pick their spots, right? He's been one of those coaches that, fair or not, the reputation is roll the ball out there. We're more talented than you. My guy's going to go get a bucket. And that was a big knock from Kentucky fans at the end of his tenure, is that things looked the same in 2010 as they did in 2024. The game changed. The mentality of players changed, but Coach John Calipari was running a lot of the same stuff. And that's why Kentucky's offenses, they might put up some points, but sometimes it was a struggle to do it. It wasn't necessarily efficient.
Yeah, I think it's, in Kentucky, he had some very talented teams that didn't pull through, and he lost some games, that he shouldn't to, inferior teams. But I think he had more of the mindset that's right now, whereas you come in, we're going to win a ton of games. I'm going to get you ready for the draft. It's up to you to take this coaching in this situation and make the most of it. And, it could maybe hurt his legacy as far as a big time coach, but I guarantee you those players love him because he had them ready. Now he's doing it in Arkansas, which I think is it's not a blue blood. They're trying to, and I know, everybody's thinking you got the Walmart money and the money will be there, but you also have to understand you have to provide a service when you're not winning or being on the let's say front page of the internet like Kentucky was. It takes a little while, it's going to take a little while longer than maybe people, projected, prior. But then also, on the flip side, he got the rhythm going this year, and obviously playing later in the year, playing really well, and quite frankly, should be kicking himself that you're not in the grade 8. Now what he's doing is thinking, all right, I need to get out on the recruiting trail because I'm getting closer than what people, think. But the problem is you got Rick Barnes, Bruce Pearl,
Mark Pope.
You got Oates. You even got old buddy at Georgia that's gonna, he has more of a tough physical team. You got Florida. So now just overnight from when he left
Mississippi State's tournament team.
Right. But just Vandy, right? Yeah, Missouri.
Mizzou,
even though
Ole Miss is still alive,
right?
Yeah.
You got 14 teams. Well, just in a matter of his transition, let's call his transition out of Kentucky was the last season and a half, 2 seasons, right? Because we got to remember they thought they were going to get rid of him a year prior. And then it just came to fruition. And then remember, people were showing up and while he's walking his dog, and he was getting the deal done. And maybe it was that, but the depth and also the true talent that came into the SEC changed overnight. So, I just think, that loss right there, it doesn't sting as much. I don't think guys take losing as hard as I don't think ever, just at any level. I mean, maybe at high school, just because you're so invested and it's your peers that you grew up with and, elementary school and middle school, and, you're in close proximity with, the student body. Whereas in college, I'm willing to bet a lot of these kids don't even go to school, like go to
a lot of online classes. Yeah.
And, you're very sheltered, you're on a pedestal, you go play the games, you're kind of like in a mini NBA, and then I'm out, right? Or I go to another school.
I want to stop you there because you're a cerebral enough guy, and I've done a show long enough with you to know that when you say guys don't take losses hard, you mean more than you don't see fewer guys with their heads buried in their jerseys.
I think
what is taking a loss hard the right way look like for you that you don't see or hear as much from this generation of athletes?
Well, I think it just starts, there's so many more options to play in AAU or club basketball. There's no ramifications. And I'm saying this because I have a different view on high school transfer portal here versus in Minneapolis because it's distinctly different.
Yeah, not the same.
The climate is different. The pressure is different. You better be coaching. And more importantly, you better be involved. You better be recruiting. And so it's totally different. You better be building. And that's different. I just think these kids now, it's like you play so many games here and you play against each other all the time. And that's why the true competitors stick out like a sore thumb, because all of them are a lot of friends. And you know what? They might play against each other at the beginning of the AAU season. They might have a bad game, or actually a coach tries to coach them or hold them accountable, right? Well, then next thing you know, they'll be your teammate, in the last, part of that AAU season.
Yeah.
Or, these kids will play on a team and be across the country and go play, because it's not really, they're not trying to, they're trying to win, but more or less they're trying to get theirs. And then what you do is you get a lot of kids that see it maybe here and they try to act like that. And you're only going to get the looks that you need to look by actually playing good basketball, which wasn't on display last night with Arkansas's essentially 2 main ball handlers. They were trying to get theirs. Why? Because they got a 16-point lead by playing one way. They felt like, oh, okay, we
Scoreboard.
did it. Start clock watching. Let me make sure I get mine so I can sleep better at night. Well, now you lost all the sleep and you lost the game, because at the end, as you move on to the grade 8 or to the next round, if you scored, they're going to give you more hype at 8 points in a W versus if you
17 and a loss.
If you got 14, they're going to be like, man, these guys that are actually number one options actually played like a team. Arkansas is going to be hell on wheels, and their best player is off injury. Look how much they've matured.
Well, you think about Alabama benching Mark Sears.
Right.
They're in the Elite 8 right now.
Right. I mean, but they're advancing. I mean, it's I think something, and I don't know who it is. Yeah, a lot of it's probably let's just say parents are like, parental figures in them. There's a lot of infighting within the teams, and especially at the club teams. A lot of guys want to do a lot of things that they haven't really worked to do so. They don't understand that what it takes. So it's very easy to see Sears, or in this case, of really, like, we had recently really good players here, legendary players in the state of Nebraska, and Hunter Salas or Chucky Hedbrun or, Frankie Fiddler and all that.
Mhm.
And so it's great that you see those guys and that's inspire you, but you didn't see the work that they put in to be what they are. And you got to think, you had Kyle, I think. No, Kyle.
Just committed to Syracuse last night, by the way.
Yeah, well, there you go. Right. I like that.
He had a destination in mind.
Right. And they got your old buddy from Myers Park coming next year too, who's the same.
It's no North Mech, but that's fine.
He's not the slim slanger, but
we're still waiting for that game, Jay.
It's coming out. Though.
I know.
Yeah,
we both know
that wing pick, that slot pick and roll. It's something they put in for him. But when you guys think, you had Kyle, you had Chucky Hedbrun, Frankie Fiddler, and all the guys that were sitting on the bench watching that we saw go to school, like Jacksons and all these guys that are playing now.
Well, I mean, you look at Jason Green at Creighton playing a role, Isaac Trout up there as well.
Right, but all those guys for those teams, you got to think Frankie Fiddler, who lit it up at UNO to get to Michigan State, was a second or third option at times in high school.
Yeah.
Where you get guys now think they need to be number one option without that type of mindset. And then how do you get to DJ Wagner? He has never had to defer. You got to think he's never had to defer. No. And then when he needed to the most, wouldn't,
didn't know how to.
It was like an outer body experience. They played. There's a reel of him and all the open guys that he refused to pass to, which I would say, I'm not an NBA scout. Strick could tell you, if you're at the scouting combine and you don't make that pass, and you're not overly talented, like superiorly talented, that's almost a twice knock against you.
Yeah.
Then, okay, I see why he takes it. Like he's like here's what I would say to and this is, I know a lot of people. I mean, one of the funniest things is that we when I used to coach or whatever, they're like, oh, that's the football guy or whatever. Okay, so I'll just be the football guy. But I'll tell you this, and this is what I would ask these basketball guys. Most of them, to be honest with you, these guys that in particular here, local guy that said it, dude, I blindfolded, I would have just been running around you. But we'll just keep it at the football guy. I would say this: if Cooper Flagg is making the basic play, and he's probably going to be a number one pick. Right, rightfully so.
Just made some NCAA tournament history again last night.
He's probably going to be a number one pick, and I watched him in the EYBL when it was on TV and stuff, and he deferred. Obviously, he had his brother and his talent level around the way. Now he's so superiorly talented, he never forced the ball. So what makes you think you need to?
Right, you're not playing on that Montverde team that he did in high school, and he's still not forced.
Right, but even when on his like AAU team,
where he's the guy,
the
guy,
and he has to be.
Yes.
What makes you think that you don't need to? What makes you think you need to worry about what somebody else needs to do? What makes you think as a parent that you're going to sit up here and try to decide who's good and who's not? You get what I'm saying?
How much does that DJ Wagner mindset apply to Caleb Love to you?
Like last night, I felt like Caleb Love was magnificent besides the one shot that led to Cooper Flagg's 3-point play or 3-pointer at the end of the half. He was actually, I would have liked to see him be more aggressive earlier in the game. But once he started getting busy, he's going to get busy. But I think that's the reason why it didn't really flourish at North Carolina past those like
2-3 game stretches.
Right. Yeah. Periodic, where, I would say with a guy like Caleb Love, he'll score 30 and then he'll score 4.
Yeah.
Well, then now he's averaging 17.
What's his NBA role? How do you think NBA scouts view him? Do you think he's more Norm Powell, Lou Williams? Do you think he's more Jordan Poole?
I think if his mind's right, and I like him though, I think he plays better defense than people give him credit for. The only thing I didn't like is once he hit the 3, he wanted to crank up the intensity and got a kind of a
cheap one.
Kind of chump foul. Like,
you
guard him at half court. I like the energy. I don't like the execution. I think I wish he would call up Gilbert Arenas and just dive into what he's doing. He's the same player.
It's funny you said that. Were you listening to me and Strick before?
No, I was not. But
Strick, you said that exact same thing.
He's the same. He's almost like the same size. I think he's probably not as much of a head case. Like Gilbert Arenas essentially talked himself out of being a lottery pick. I think
among other things later in his NBA career.
Right, but I'm saying initially,
Yeah.
didn't show up to the workout, didn't work hard, and then Richard Jefferson goes because he's more the safe pick, right? But I think that's it. You're instant offense. You got to play just a good enough defense. You're 6'4" now. You can handle the ball a little. You got to be able to handle the ball. And then late in quarters, he's gonna kill people because he has enough post up game and the post up ability with how big his shoulders are and how physical he can be. You get against a little guard or something that don't want to play D. That's how he's gonna get in. And if he goes to G League, he's 30 plus.
Right.
I mean, because he's the primary ball handler. So you ain't getting a lot of assists, and so. That's where he's at.
My favorite part of Caleb Love's potential future NBA profile is that he lost to Duke last night. That's my favorite part of him as a player.
Yeah.
So, it's funny. I saw this from someone. They said that going into the year, both Caleb Love and RJ Davis had a winning record against Duke, and they're both going to end their careers at 500. Caleb was 5-3, lost in non-con, and then in the tournament, Duke may or may not have.
Cooper Flag got a little get back, but
Cooper Flag got a lot of get back.
Well, they should tell him that majority of that record was those two guys together. Now, the third party that split that marriage up is not even in the same stratosphere as far as, or in the region of the country.
Right.
If either of you two.
No.
The farthest as possible way for both of you knuckleheads. And so, you know who those two are going to be like if they ever did a 30 for 30 at North Carolina on that run with Hubert Davis and all that stuff, the transition. They're going to be like Shaq and Penny. What could have been.
Interesting. Okay.
Because they're going to have alumni weekend. And they're going to be like, sit back and, you know what? If they had Kevin Myers cork and bottle down there, big shout out to Kevin Myers cork and bottle, 13th and South. You need to go over there, especially when the weather starts to get better.
What are you grilling tonight, by the way?
I'm not grilling tonight.
Tomorrow. What are you grilling?
Probably a steak.
So what Kevin's got tonight. So good answer.
I don't know. We got depending on the wind. I've been seeing some stuff, man. I saw this dude he's made his own like homemade like fryers. I mean, he makes he can like pounds of chicken. He got a big old barrel and he made it. And then he has like he must have like got some old auto. He's a country dude from down south. He grills everything. He got bare shoulder and leg.
Country dude from Frederick, Maryland. So.
No. He's down. He's down there where Terrell
Real
Farley,
country.
Terrell Farley says he's from Columbus, Georgia. He's actually from Alabama, so it's deep south down there. This dude is for real. So I've been watching some of that, but that's what I'll try to do. But I will tell you this though: those two will be there. It'll be awkward for a while, and they're like, "Man, we were stupid," and then they're gonna think about what could have been.
Too late to do anything about it now, but
I'm going to tell you what, they might end up over. Just imagine those two playing in the European League.
Woo!
You talking about it? Listen, I'm going to tell you this. I know we got to go on a little long. You talking about intensity? I just stumbled upon a YouTube channel over in like a Turkey league.
Those crowds are legit, man.
Oh, I mean, it's actually a bucket list to go to European soccer now. Now, I know they don't like brothers over there, so I got to make sure I got my hand-to-hand combat.
Go to one of the more tolerant.
Yeah, but I don't think countries. It is because it's based on wins and losses. So I got to talk to the people. I got to talk to the brothers.
Go to a winner.
I got to talk to the brothers in the locker room. Listen, I'm here to watch you. I got to survive. But
keep me safe.
But go to one of those games. Yeah, it's rocking. But the intensity. This isn't. Hey, Austin, will you please get over the screen? Did you miss that? Oh, no.
Please, next time, get over the screen.
Oh, no. It's full-fledged going at you.
And they mean it.
Oh.
It's personal.
Oh, it's personal. Yeah. So for all these American players over here, if you think like, I won't make it to the NBA, I'm going to go over there. Yeah, if you're afraid to get your feelings hurt, do not take the trek over there.
You'll come back even more fragile.
Oh,
Jason Deruso made a heck of a career over in Europe. Former Husker baller.
Yeah, it's and he'll probably tell you it's for real over there. They're playing for keeps because everything is the lights are on and off based on if you're on TV or not. I didn't really realize that based on what league you are. You get paid by the TV contracts directly, which then the owners get paid and so forth and so on. So,
Jay Foreman.
Yeah.
Austin Norman. We're going to preview tonight's Sweet 16 action to wrap up on the block. Get you set up for old school in a sec.
Follow Austin Strick and On the Block on Twitter at Austin Orman, eStrick20, and On the Block 93.7. More of On the Block coming up.
Load up on meat and more this spring at the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese. This week's special through April 1st is $1 off all pasta, $2 off spaghetti sauce, and special discounts on hamburgers. Locations at 84th and Havelock, 30th and Yankee Hill, and now 85th and Old Cheney and Lincoln, or also at 168th and Maple Streets in Omaha. Get to the Mercado today for the best meat in town.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Sponsored by John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning.
We're going to see plenty of sunshine for your Friday. It's going to be breezy, too. Wind gusts 30 to 40 miles an hour. High risk of fire danger, so a red flag warning will be in effect until 8 o'clock this evening. High temperature of 86 degrees. The record today, 90. So I don't think we're going to set a record this afternoon. Could bring in some showers, maybe a rumble of thunder overnight. Fair chance of rain on your Saturday. I'm meteorologist Aaron Downer for 93.7 The Ticket and ticketfm.com.
Salt Mine City is not only Lincoln's newest brewery, but they're also now serving food. Enjoy a full menu of great items daily for lunch and dinner, like their peanut butter and jelly burger with bacon and cheddar cheese, or a Reuben sandwich served on Blackstone rye bread. Don't forget their beef or chicken nachos with guacamole, sour cream, jalapenos, and more. Wash it down with one of their 12 beers on tap, including the popular Single Axle Light American Lager. Salt Mine City, now open 11 a.m. every day but Mondays at 8th and R.
Yesterday, your water heater worked just fine. Today, surprise! When you're out of hot water, just call the plumbers at Bryant. In most cases, you can get same-day water heater replacement. What you won't get is a costly surprise with the bill. At Bryant, the price you're quoted is the price you'll pay. No last-minute extras for piping or ventilation alterations. Need a new water heater? Just call Bryant, 467-1111. Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing. We do whatever it takes.
Love is in the air, and so are big savings. It's the Big I Do event at Sartor Heyman Jewelers, South Point Pavilions, April 4th through the 6th. For 3 days only, enjoy 20% off all engagement rings and wedding bands, plus exclusive bridal collections from our top designers. Whether you're saying yes or I do, shop now for the year's best prices and selection. April 4th through 6th, Sartor Heyman Jewelers, South Point Pavilions.
Hey Stars fans, I'm Ford Jack Picard. Join us for Billet Appreciation Night on Saturday, March 29th, when we take on the Des Moines Buccaneers at 6:05 p.m. Our billets make each season possible by opening up their homes to players like me each season. We'll be honoring them before the game on the ice with us as a small token of our appreciation. Purchase your tickets now by heading to LincolnStars.com.
At Lincoln Family Chiropractic, they believe everyone deserves to live a pain-free and active life. Whether it's neck pain, shoulder pain, or lower back pain, Lincoln Family Chiropractic specializes in customized care for every patient to promote faster healing, allowing you to get back to an optimal life. Lincoln Family Chiropractic's team specializes in treatments such as dry needling, cupping therapy, and traditional adjustments. Give Lincoln Family Chiropractic a call today, 402-484-5166. Visit them online at lincolnfamilychiro.com or in person, 1 block south of 70th and 8th Street in Lincoln.
When you need a new water heater, nothing beats the ProLine family of water heaters from A.O. Smith. ProLine models are built using commercial-grade components, meaning they're built to help you tackle your toughest days. No matter if you need a gas or electric model, A.O. Smith has a ProLine unit for you. A.O. Smith, innovation has a name. Call John Henry's at 402-435-5555 for a great deal on a water heater today. Again, that's 402-435-5555.
Hi everyone, Kendall Warnock, A1 Automotive in downtown Lincoln. The last few years have been wild, but we've been here for you through all the ups and downs, and we'll be here for you when you need us the most, for all your travels and for your day-to-day driving. With winter conditions causing problems all over town, the last thing anyone needs this year is constant car troubles. Let us help you drive in peace and make sure you drive to work and to winter destinations safe. A1 Automotive, 11th and L Street downtown, always honest answers.
Now back to On the Block with Eric Strickland, Jay Foreman, and Austin Orman.
Back one final time here during On the Block. Austin Norman, Jay Foreman with you. Big thanks to all the wonderful people who are sponsoring this show, including the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese, Heartland of Nebraska Windows, and Love Volleyball Omaha. Get your tickets to see some national team players, some Olympians, and some national champions play for Love Volleyball Omaha before their season ends in April. LOVBOMA.com for tickets. Jay, let's turn our attention from yesterday's Sweet 16 action to tonight. You get Ole Miss, Michigan State, Kentucky, Tennessee, Michigan, Auburn, and Purdue. Houston, any of those games stand out to you as your favorite of the night?
You know who I'm going with.
Probably, but I just want to hear you say it.
Houston.
Figured, but I just wanted to make sure.
That's Money Walker Jr. out there.
It's true.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I mean, that's it. That's the way. Hey, and plus I like the way they play. I think they got a little bit more 3-point shooting this year versus, obviously previous years, but I'm a big Tom Izzo fan. It's going to be interesting to see if they can handle the firepower of Ole Miss. It's going to come down to 3-point shooting or 3-point plays for them. And obviously, they're a defensive team that's obviously, going to be very physical, but you're playing against, this isn't the Ole Miss of back in the day. They're just as physical. There's a lot more, the depth of basketball players and then being able to go and pluck guys from mid-majors and HBCUs and all that stuff is the difference that I guess, advantage that Tom Izzo had, kind of like Nick Saban had, is slowly but surely starting to get eliminated. But the late game is going to be my game.
That's an interesting regional because Houston's the 1 seed. And I think on a neutral court, I would take Houston pretty big in this one. I mean, they are so physical. They shoot it as well, if not better, from 3
Purdue
as
essentially
Purdue
gets a home game.
does. But that's just the thing. All 3 fan bases of the other teams are closer to Indy than Houston.
Yeah,
Purdue gets a bona fide home game at Lucas Oil Stadium, home of the Colts, and of course, Curtis Painter, former Purdue quarterback who played for Indy for a while. Then the game before that is Kentucky, Tennessee.
Yeah, and they're way closer.
Way closer.
Yeah.
That's probably my game of the night. Kentucky, Tennessee. The 2-3 matchup. Kentucky's the 3, Tennessee's the 2. Kentucky won the regular season series. They took both games they played in the regular season, and yet Tennessee's favored by 4.5 points. So I'm fascinated to see if Kentucky can pull off the sweep, if Tennessee gets some get back. Both those fan bases are closer. I think I wouldn't take Houston to have any problems if this was really in any other regional except this one. I think being close to home will help Purdue. I just think Houston poses some real matchup problems.
Yeah, Houston's going to break them off proper.
I'm here for it.
Yeah, open up a fresh one. I think Michigan State is going to handle Ole Miss. It's going to be a kind of grimy game, but I think
that's more of a home game for Ole Miss, though. That's in Atlanta.
Yeah, but I think Michigan State will pull away late. I predict Ole Miss will not shoot well. The Tennessee, I think Kentucky will win this game. The thing is, Tennessee's they've had really good players, and my daughter's texting me because Boswell's their backup point guard, and I know him a little bit just because they went to high school together. It's just something about Tennessee. You look, they have your boy Connect for it. It just seems like they don't. I don't like the way they play sometimes. I know they're very defensive orientated. They got a really good mix of athletes and stuff. I just think Mark Pope's idea, just coming in and let them free will it, and they kind of like that Kentucky will win. It's more because I like Mark Pope is just kind of all shucks type of dude. I think they'll win. Mark
Pope cracks me up. He is so fun to watch on the sidelines. He's Mormon. That's very well known. Obviously, not a cussing type of coach, but sometimes Kentucky was getting hosed by the whistle SEC play, and some Kentucky fans, my buddy's one of them, adds the super cuts of Mark Pope swearing.
Yeah,
that's how bad the officials were. It's I like Mark Pope.
I like Mark Pope, and I think Auburn will handle Michigan.
Okay.
I think Michigan turns the ball over.
They
too
do.
much.
Far too much.
Okay. Well, then that's not what you want to do against those athletes of Auburn.
One of these 1 seeds has to get taken down. One of them.
Okay.
Right. One of them has to have.
So
a
you think
disappointing
it between
year. Duke and
well, there's going to be Duke
and Florida are already through.
Yeah, they're going to lose next game.
Well, I'm saying in the Sweet 16. I feel like one of them has to go, and it's not going to be Houston. I'm not saying I don't trust in Auburn. I did pick them to make the national championship game.
I trust the talent. I don't trust Bruce Pearl. That's it.
But do you trust Dusty May?
He just looks like somebody. You know, he looks like somebody that just because he looks like the cartoon character was a Wilson. Remember that you ever seen it? Last name was Wilson. He just perfect. He looks like somebody you just can't trust.
Too good to be true, sort of thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I liked the two big guys.
Mm-hmm. Danny Wolf is fun. Danny Wolf has experience beating Auburn. He was on that Yale team that did it.
Yeah. I just think Auburn's
good, man.
But it's Bruce Pearl though too.
It is. He's made a Final Four though.
You definitely can't trust Bruce Pearl, even though he had one of the best quotes of all time talking about his guards.
My guards aren't.
Wussies.
All right, so your final picks.
I'm going Michigan State. I'm going to take Kentucky because I like Pope. I'm going Auburn and Houston.
Running Rebs.
Damn.
Wildcats.
Okay. You going Michigan too? Damn, you going all left side.
Auburn gets it late.
Well, just take Purdue too.
No, right. I'm not doing it. I'm not a fan of this Purdue team.
I ain't either.
They shouldn't be a 4 seed.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan. He's Jay Foreman. I'm Austin Norman. Big thanks to Stricky for popping on and Uncle Kevin Meyer for popping in for On the Block. Big thanks to the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese for their sponsorship of the show. It's been a fun week here on the block. All right, we'll talk to you Monday from Vegas. You'll have a Jay and a board op to be named later in studio. It's been fun. We'll do it again next week. Talk to you soon here in just a sec, though, for Old School.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also